You're listening to the Arena Sports Network, the Quad County Experience, where every fan has a voice and every team has a fan.
You can't handle the truth.
When you put cameras right in our face, like, we really don't know what to say.
Oh, I'm supposed to say something?
I ain't got nothing to say.
Don't talk to me today.
Be smart what you say.
You want me to say something?
I got the mic there.
I got nothing funny to say.
I don't either.
I'm not Brett Favre.
Sorry to let them down.
Yeah.
Let's go, guys. It's a game. It's a game out here I want to play in.
Someday with experience, we'll have something funny to say.
Pull out your recorders and cover your children's eyes. You're about to enter the afternoon locker room. And here we go inside the afternoon locker room with your host, Brian Snow.
Oh, yeah, baby. Another edition of the Afternoon Locker Room is in your ears on this Thursday afternoon. We welcome you from our studios here in Glenview, Illinois, right outside Chicago. We thank y'all for tuning in to us. We are presented by LaporteCountyLife.com. LaPorte County Life, have you heard the good news? And speaking of good news, we got some good news for you, especially you baseball junkies, because beginning next Monday, we will have live coverage of the Northern Indiana Senior Babe Ruth League District Tournament from Chesterton, Indiana. And that will all start taking place on Monday. I want to say hi to a very special listener who's tuned in right now from South Bend, Indiana, and I want to be sure that I get her last name pronounced correctly, because if I don't pronounce it correctly, she's gonna reach through the computer and she's gonna clobber me. And I've had horrible luck with names the past couple of days. Her name is Stephanie, and I hope I say this right, Nyers, kind of like Myers, but with an N. Nyers. Tuning us in from South Bend, Indiana, and I am assuming that she is a Notre Dame fan. I hope I'm right on that assumption. If I'm not, then I apologize. But thanks to her and all the fans that have tuned us in this afternoon here on the Afternoon Locker Room on this Thursday. It's a nice sunny Thursday as I look outside our window in our studios here in Glenview. All right, let's get this party started, shall we? I saw, actually, I didn't see this. My friend Joshua Jackson saw this. He posted an article on Facebook, courtesy, let me get this right, of the Tallahassee Democrat. And it's newly hired athletic director Kellen Winslow. And y'all ought to remember the name Kellen Winslow, tight end for the San Diego Chargers. And he is now the athletic director at FAMU, home of the Rattlers, and I believe that is Joshua Jackson's alma mater. And he said something, well, he basically told the truth about their athletic program. Going into this article, and I'm going to find out who wrote it. Okay. It's in the Tallahassee Democrat, and part of the reading goes as follows. Speaking Wednesday afternoon at the 220 Quarterback Club's weekly luncheon, Winslow said the issues that plague FMU athletics are too many for a quick fix. Winslow said, quote, "It's broken. It can't be fixed. Tear it down, start over, build it the right way. We all know what happens to a house that doesn't sit on a strong foundation. It doesn't hold up to pressure. So let's strip it down, restructure it in a way that it should be done so we can get the value of FAMU athletics that we're supposed to." I kind of like that. Winslow, who was hired, let me close that quote. Winslow, who was hired in April, also responded to numerous questions and comments from the packed room. The first-year athletic director, I lost my place, and it's my own fault. First-year athletic director said he is still evaluating personnel on his staff and that coaching changes are imminent. Most of the questions he was asked Wednesday were about the football program. Before the first one came, however, Winslow gave an assurance that he wouldn't be firing Coach Earl Holmes. There was momentary silence before laughter broke out. He touched on several matters which seemed to be from a working list, but while the crowd left seemingly pleased that he had a sense of direction for the department, not everyone likes the pace that Winslow is moving at. One of those people is Eddie Jackson, president of the club that invited Winslow to speak. Jackson, a former president of University Affairs at FAMU, went as far as to say that he didn't think Winslow was being realistic. Dissension in the ranks have already begun. Jackson told the Democrat hours after Winslow's presentation, quote, No, I don't. I don't think the program is broken to the point that it can't be fixed. There is a foundation to build off of rather than tearing things down. I just think this is going way, way too fast. That quote is closed. Jackson suggested that Winslow take a look at some of the recent success that FAMU has had in athletics to get a sense of what changes are needed. He mentioned football sharing a MEAC title in 2010, when men's and women's track team winning cross-country titles, and a winning season in baseball. Jackson said, quote, the program may have some problem, but it's too many changes coming too quickly. I don't think we're moving down the right path. In terms of what he is doing, it is too much too soon, too many changes. Close quote. Winslow said he's set course to make major changes at FAMU the day he first walked into his office. The surroundings had no sense of history and legacy left by the many great athletes who made FAMU a brand name, he said. Winslow says, quote, it didn't feel like someplace special. Wow. I go on. And Winslow goes on. It has to be someplace special. This is what student athletes want to be a part of. Man, talk about getting in there and getting started in a hurry. Sylvia DuPont called the presentation, quote, a breath of fresh air. Other club members like Tom Towns and O'Neal Jackson had reservations about what they heard. Towns said, quote, I agree with everything he said, and that's unusual. I just hope that he could deliver, close quote. Winslow insisted that he can by saying, quote, we can do this. It has been done before. We are not splitting the atom. We are not operating on somebody's brain. It's basic business. Let me read that again. Basic business. Give the people a product, and they will beat a path to your door. Give them unequal facilities, and they're going to go someplace else. Kellen Winslow has spoken. Now, there was an interview given, which I'm going to play here in just a second, but a quick assessment of... Am I going to have a call in here? I may have a call here in just a moment because there is a FAMU alumnus that, well, the person I mentioned, Joshua Jackson, who posted this article. And you know what? I think we're going to get him on the line right now, and we're going to get his thoughts. My buddy Alvin Washington had a comment saying, "Why do I smell a correlation to Southern University?" Man,
I'm outside exercising now.
Did I just hear that right? That you're exercising right now, dude?
Yes, I am. I'm actually walking from the Main Street Bridge to the arena.
Okay.
And I'm gonna walk back. So like 3 miles there, 3 miles back to my car.
Oh,
so,
good.
So yeah, I'm just getting my exercise on, man. What's going on?
Give me your quick thoughts on this article where Kellen Winslow made the comment that the FAMU athletic department is broken and needs to be fixed.
Well, as an alumnus of Florida A&M University, I can wholeheartedly agree with him in that assessment. This really goes all the way back in the early to mid 2000s when Florida A&M had the unsuccessful attempt, football-wise, to go to the Division I level. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, with the money issues that FAMU has, not just with football, but, football, basketball, baseball, just some of the issues that they've had athletically, that wasn't necessarily a shrewd move for them to make. And when you're sinking all the money to make that sort of move, going up to a level in which you know you can't sustain it.
Right.
You got more pressing issues than, going to a Division I level. You've still got to renovate Bragg Memorial Stadium, which in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, it's one of the lower stadiums in the MEAC, with the seating issues and facilities and that sort of thing. It's not only hard to sell that to recruits, it's hard to sell that to alumni when you don't see a particular plan to get there and sustain it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the bigger issue right now is, as Kellen said, breaking the thing down and building it back to getting it to a sustainable level, because we've seen programs like Bethune-Cookman really overtake FAMU in a lot of areas athletically.
Yeah, we have.
I really think it's a good move for Kellen to make, and it's good to have an AD there that's going to stay there, because FAMU's gone through a lot, and I mean a lot, of different athletic directors and presidents in the past, say, 10 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
So getting some stability there in the front office as well as in the athletic department is going to go a long way to preserving and getting FAMU back to the legacy in which they were at before.
Joshua Jackson, a FAMU alumnus, joining us here, talking about the comments of Kellen Winslow. And I liked what you said when you posted this on Facebook, a scathing indictment, but a scathing indictment leads to a resolution and ultimately a solution. And Kellen Winslow, if you think about it, JJ, has the ultimate solution, and that is tearing it down, rebuilding the foundation, and just rebuilding the foundation and starting over. How well is this going to set with the students that are there now, as well as the alumni?
In my opinion, as an alumnus, I always kind of think of it really can't get any worse. With how low FAMU's athletic department has fallen, and how far, I guess, remember in the late 90s, early 2000s, FAMU was named College of the Year by the Princeton Review, one of the first and few institutions of higher learning for African Americans to be selected and given that distinction. So it's really regressed over the past 10 years or so. But I think right now FAMU students and FAMU alumni are seeing a plan from the Purdue president, Elvira Mangum, as well as the athletic director and Kellen Winslow, to getting the program back to where it once was. It's a very proud program. A lot of history there at FAMU. I mean, we can talk about the Bob Hayes of the world and the Wilma Rudolphs and all the great FAMUans that have passed through those doors. So it's just really good to see a plan now to getting things back in order.
And one of the latest FAMU alumni who had a great career in the NFL, you know who I'm speaking of, Nate Newton, who was an offensive guard there. What do you think would be a good plan for Kellen to get the alumni involved in rebuilding the athletic program?
The one thing that I have not seen an athletic director do is what Kellen has done, is actually starting to get into the community, starting to get from outside of the highest of Seven Hills in Tallahassee and going and actually visiting and meeting with alumni and meeting with different people to help get this program back to sustainability. I think he's doing a great job right now in getting out there in the community, meeting people, shaking hands, kissing babies, doing whatever it is you need to do in order to say, hey, we've got a plan now. I'm not going anywhere. I'm the right man for the job. I have a plan. I have a vision. And I think that's what a lot of alumni and a lot of students wanted to see, a plan and a vision to getting the program back to respectability. I think Kellen Winslow is doing a hell of a job right now, even in the couple of months that he's been there, to break it down and build it all the way back up. Selecting a new basketball coach a couple of weeks ago, trying to get the football program back to respectability. I think he's doing a great job right now in getting in kind of rebooting and recharging that athletic program at FAMU.
With us talking about facilities as often as we have, and Lord knows you and I have seen our share of great and let me just be honest, god-awful facilities. the facilities at FAMU, being a historically black college, how big are the renovation, rebuilding, and possibly getting new facilities there going to be in this process?
I believe it's huge. I think you're going to see a kind of a rebirth of the basketball program with getting a new basketball coach. And a couple of years ago, they got, or should I say we, got a new basketball facility there, the Lawson Center, playing at the old Gaither Gymnasium, which was a bandbox, to put it mildly. Getting a facility on campus where you can help with your basketball program, beautiful facility, the Al Lawson Center. That's going to help out the basketball program. But the crown jewel of every athletic program that has football is football. And
right.
Getting renovations there at Bragg Memorial Stadium, getting the facilities back to where it is that they need to be at the football program, getting a weight program, getting a student center, getting something for those current student athletes, football student athletes at FAMU to say, hey, let me come in, let me what I need to do here at FAMU. They've got it all plan, they've got facilities, they've been able to kind of build this thing back up the right way. And I think in the next couple of years, you're really going to see a resurgence and a proudness, a pride, or should I say, back in FAMU athletics.
And you being a former Rattler, I know you're excited in seeing this happen and knowing all the excitement that is going to be restored there. We talked about we talked about the facilities. We talked about, you know what? I read a comment on that thread that it's all about recruiting. You can't do the recruiting if you don't have the facilities. So we hit that point and how big that point is going to be. Now, being an athletic director and being the football mind that Kellen Winslow is, how big of a stake is he going to put in FAMU football? And again, I say, being the football mind that he is, because we're talking about one of the greatest tight ends in history. He's got that football mind. How big is that going to be in putting the FAMU football program, the crown jewel, as you said, and are very true with JJ, back together?
I think it's huge right now for the FAMU football program to have a guy like Kellen Winslow, an NFL Hall of Famer, someone with connections all over not only the National Football League, but the NCAA, getting respectably back to that football program. The football program has really fallen upon hard times. They've gone through a couple of coaching changes. Right now, they're being coached by Earl Holmes, the former Pittsburgh Steeler great, and really just trying to get recruits in there to sit there and believe FAMU is the right place for them to play at. Because we've seen, as I said a couple of moments ago, you've seen a resurgence of you've seen South Carolina State in the take the range application of the conference level. You've seen a couple of new programs coming into and started making some noise in the MEAC and getting guys like North Carolina Central and even Savannah State. Facilities there in Savannah. It's time for FAMU right now to catch up and get to that level and exceed that level, because it's where FAMU people around the country that FAMU can be. Yes, you know about the Marching 100.
Yes.
The program, of course, the issue of the German situation a couple of years ago. Getting after that thing out of the issue in regards to the ACR. Unfortunately, in our FAMU not being able to compete for the Mid-Atlantic Conference or the NCAA playoff berth because of the lower application. Getting a guy like Kellen Winslow into the program, breaking it down, building it back up, getting it back to respectability, and sustaining that is going to go along with future success there at FAMU.
And it's going to be absolutely huge. And let me bring a point that you and I are very familiar with. Now, you and I have a common friend, a very dear friend, Chris Hooks, the voice of the NCCU Sports Network and the voice of the NCCU Eagles. And you know where I'm going with my next question. How big is it going to be for Kellen to have a viable, not just a decent or good, but a viable broadcast branch at Florida A&M?
It is absolutely humongous to getting that identity there in the airways, because I happen to believe, and I believe it wholeheartedly, that any program that has football should be able to broadcast those games on some capacity. And I think with having a guy there at FAMU, great Keith Miles, my mentor and my teacher at FAMU, He's been there for so long. He's in great hands right now, getting respectability back into that part of the athletic department as well, being able to broadcast those games, and not just football, being able to broadcast every basketball game, broadcasting some baseball game. I think it's viable, and I think it's huge right now for FAMU to be able to get that respect back in that athletic department and getting it back to that national level as well, getting an identity behind the microphone as well. I think they're in great hands with Keith Miles, and I think it's going to go even more now with you having a guy like Kellen Winslow there at the helm of the program.
And it's also going to help when they build, not if, but when they build that sports network the same way our good friend Chris Hook has at North Carolina Central. But in general, and I want to hit this with you, JJ, and I know you and I have talked about it before, how big is it going to be to see the HBCUs like North Carolina Central, Florida A&M, Savannah State, Bethune-Cookman, to see all of them come together and have viable broadcast networks to get the word out about black college athletics the way it needs to get out there?
I think it's huge right now for the survival of HBCU athletics, and not just in the MEAC, but in the SWAC with Grambling and Southern and
Yes.
State, Alabama State, all those great programs. Even in the Division II level, in the CIAA, the SIAC, with Tennessee State over in the Ohio Valley Conference, with teams like Edward Waters in the NAIA level.
Yes.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as HBCUs to really kind of band together and get ourselves out there, because as I've said, and the people who've listened to us talk about HBCUs know how passionate I am. Everybody knows about Florida. Everybody knows about Florida State. Everybody knows about Clemson and Oregon and Northwestern and all those programs, Illinois, all those Big Ten programs, Pac-10, Pac-12, or whatever you're calling it, Big 12, ACC, SEC. It's important for HBCU athletics in order to survive, to be able to put themselves out there in a positive light. The best way you can do that is doing well on the athletics program, and a better way to do that is becoming viable in the broadcast spectrum, being able to put yourself out there, having a voice, putting it out there to the mainstream and saying, hey, we're here too, having those big sponsors coming in and saying, they're starting to get some support. Let's start to get behind this and put it back to where it is that it needs to be. I think it's very, very important for the survival of HBCU athletics to have that broadcast arm to continue to keep themselves out there.
I again borrow the example, the wonderful example. You and I are both patrons of the NCCU Sports Network. Love listening to Chris Hooks do his thing every Saturday with football and every time with basketball, who just made an NCAA appearance, mind you, in San Antonio, Texas. Okay? That is a byproduct of everything that goes on when you build a network like that. There is a school in the MEAC that does not have that kind of capability, and I will put the word yet behind it. And that school is North Carolina A&T in Greensboro, at least to my knowledge. They have not had that kind of broadcast influence. With FAMU repairing theirs, the success of North Carolina Central and others in the MEAC, what would it take for North Carolina A&T to build that branch? Because that is one branch they desperately need.
I think what it will take for them is for actually somebody to get in there and say, how is our teams like South Carolina State, Savannah State, Florida A&M, Bethune-Cookman, North Carolina Central, all those programs starting to get some exposure. They're broadcasting. And I think it's going to take somebody in there to realize that, get a plan together, put it together, because that is a great program up there. You hear Aggie Pride all the time up there in that Greensboro area. They just rebuilt Aggie Stadium, a beautiful multi-million-dollar complex up there in Greensboro, North Carolina. Great, excited basketball program, a baseball program that's really starting to build and get things back going the right way. I think being an athletic director in there or somebody in that front office there at North Carolina A&T to realize that we need to be able to broadcast, to be able to put ourselves out there in a positive light is going to go a long way to, once again, the sustainability and the survival of that athletic program, because it attracts alumni, it attracts students, it attracts sponsors, it attracts those dollars that you need, because it's all about money getting that money into that program and continuing the success that they have up there.
My producer, Sherry Lynn, a good friend of ours, just shot me a note, and she made a very good point, and you and I share this point. Smaller schools definitely need a voice. Let me take you back 2 years. JJ, you were on the ride with me when I was covering both Indiana Northwest and Roosevelt University. You were along for the ride along with many others when the Roosevelt women's basketball team completed a miraculous comeback that season and not only won the regular season title but also the conference tournament championship. If Roosevelt University, it's in the third largest market in the country in Chicago, but we're talking about Roosevelt University that plays in the CCAC and would be considered a small school compared to some of the other schools in Illinois. And I had the chance to voice them for 2 seasons, the same I had with Indiana Northwest. If the success with them can be heard, especially with the internet going as haywire as it is, why can't others, just grab on and say, listen, we can do the same thing.
I mean, there's a piece of the pie for everyone, especially in this day and age with modern technology, with the internet, with so many different ways you can broadcast and put a game on and put everything together. If teams like Roosevelt and teams like Edward Waters and schools along those same lines can put that together, there shouldn't be any reason why any other team or any other school should not be able to put it together as well. It's inexpensive right now in this day and age to put those things together. And again, it's going to take someone of a mind to be like, you know what, we can put ourselves there in a positive manner, being able to attract sponsors, being able to attract dollars, and it helps when you have a broadcast department. I've seen the growth of Edward Waters from a school in which it was not getting much money to when you're starting to be able to broadcast games now. It's starting to get the money in. It's starting to get positive publicity. It's starting to attract great student athletes, and I think you can always attribute that to not only what's going on in the front office, but being able to put themselves out there in a positive manner with being able to get sponsorship dollars, and all because of the great broadcast that we do there at EWC.
You've been at EWC for 9 seasons. You've done football every season. I've had a chance to produce your broadcast, your pregame show for the past couple of years. And, you and I, you doing EWC, me doing TIU, we've borrowed ideas from each other. But that's how a network starts. That's how a voice builds, because when I opened the text line in 2011, you seized that idea, took it and ran with it, and it's really grown your audience. So having that broadcast tool, not just for the HBCUs, but the HBCUs especially needed, but having that broadcast tool and building off of it, and something Paul Allen said, the voice of the Vikings, something Paul Allen said, and it's so true. You have a play, but you have tentacles to the play. We have broadcast, but we have tentacles to the broadcast. The text line, the shout line, everything that you and I have used for our broadcast the past 3 seasons. The methods are out there. It's just taking a hold and running with them.
What's the old adage? Imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Yes, it is.
I think that I've spoken with guys like Chris Hooks, guys like yourself, some of the bigger names across our great field, and I've kind of taken little things from every one of you, put them all together and put it in my own little style. And I think in order to become a great broadcaster, you have to learn how to evolve and take little things from your favorites, put it all together, not imitate, but put it all together, put it in your own style, and go from there. So I look up to all of you guys in my level, even me being around for 9 years at Edward Waters. I'm still somewhat of a youngster in this game compared to the 20-year veterans and the 30s and more. So I'm still learning from you guys every single day. So anytime I can listen to a great broadcaster like yourself or like a Chris Hooks or even my favorite, Gene Deckerhoff,
right,
and just kind of taking guys and taking things from you guys and kind of incorporating and putting into my own style so it works for myself and it works for our school and our sports network, I think it definitely helps out.
How big has the reception been when you took the idea I gave you of the text line and you ran with it. How big and how great of a reception was that for the fans, especially the ones who couldn't make it out to each game?
It's been absolutely huge, especially with the parents of our student athletes, our football players, our basketball players, to know that they're listening to their son and they're listening to their school being broadcasted over the air. They'll send a text message saying, we send our support, we show our support, and it helps. It helps out with getting that positiveness going on and being able to say, hey, I have a hand in our broadcast. I'm not sitting there just listening. I can send a text message to show my support, or I can put a message on our Facebook page and show the support for our school. So I think being able to have that, your idea, the text line, and being able to kind of evolve that and getting that, having that our fans have a hand in our broadcast. I like to think we're an interactive broadcast. We're not just behind a microphone and we're talking about what's going on. I want to know what's going on with our fans. I want to know how they feel. I want to know what they think of the game and what they feel the move should be made and that sort of thing. I want to know what goes on because I'm hanging on a cliff on every word just as they are, and I think being able to have that text line, I think it's just another added advantage that we have with our sports network.
Here's another thing that's an added advantage, and I know some of the other HBCUs can use this. That's social media. You and I are all over social media. We use it to our advantage. We let the fans know where they can tune in, and using applications like Facebook and Twitter, and in some cases Google+, getting the word out about our broadcast. I am willing to bet you that if everything gets shaped up at Florida A&M like I believe it will, and I'm really starting to believe that it will, and Kellen Winslow is the man for the job to do it. Take a little social media and add it to that broadcast. You'll get the word out about Florida A&M. It brings in recruits. It brings in students.
Exactly, and it gives an identity and exposure to the program that I think will help because, again, people know about Florida State and they know about Miami because they're broadcasting games and you see them on TV all the time. You can get your program on the air, whether it be over the internet, over traditional radio, or even better, or even on TV. It goes a long way towards the excitement of your program, getting a pride of backing your program, and getting the positiveness and that publicity out there to the viewing public. So I think it definitely helps if any program can broadcast their games in any way, shape, or form. You're going to see a pride and something that the fans can hold on to, saying, hey, yeah, this is my school, they're doing this, and I'm proud of it.
Man, listen, we're going to hit this another time, but that's Joshua Jackson on the hotline with me, talking Florida A&M athletics, the rebuilding, the restructuring, the refoundation building of FAMU Rattler Athletics, and a proud Rattler on the line with me to help break this down. JJ, as always, my friend, a pleasure.
Brian, thanks so much, man. I can catch you while I'm not exercising, but thanks so much for having me on, man. I'll talk to you soon.
I figured you posting this hot story, I may as well get you now while I have the chance, and thanks for the reminder. I appreciate it.
I got you, man. Take care.
All right, that's Joshua Jackson, a proud Florida A&M alumnus, and I just realized, and I think Sherry just made me realize also, we haven't taken a break yet. So we're going to pause for 2 minutes, and when we come back, I'm going to expand more on this article with Kellen Winslow. You are listening to the Afternoon Locker Room. You're hearing it live on the Arena Sports Network. We'll be back.
At Strachan Van Til, we just made saving on groceries even easier with our new building blocks of value. Just look for the new icons all around the store to find our weekly advertised specials, everyday smart buys, exclusive limited time offers, new lower prices, and even extra rewards. These bright, colorful icons are all about building honest, uncomplicated value, one block at a time, and giving you more ways to save every day. To learn more, visit ValueMeansMore.com today.
Get your best price on Ford trucks, Focus, F-150, Explorer, Escape,
and Lincoln MKS, MKT, MKX, MKZ, as well as Fiesta, Fusion, Taurus, Mustang, Navigator, and all other new Ford Lincoln vehicles at the all-new Sowers Ford in Lincoln, Northwest Indiana's newest Ford Lincoln dealer. We offer new and used Ford Lincoln vehicles, parts, service, and used cars. If you are in Northwest Indiana or near Michigan City, LaPorte, Hobart, Burns Harbor, Valparaiso, Chesterton, South Bend, or Portage, there is no comparison to the other dealers around town. We are about to earn your business with top quality service and the most competitive pricing in Indiana. Stop by today at 3930 Franklin Street in Michigan City or give us a call at 219-879-5381. That's 219-879-5381. Or visit us online at www.sowersauto.com. Sowers Ford Lincoln, Northwest Indiana's newest Ford Lincoln dealer.
I represent the Excelsior Appliance and Appurtenance Company Incorporated with a complete line of household appliances and is the lady of the house in? What?
Testing. 1, 2. Oh, sorry. You're listening to the Afternoon Locker Room on the Arena Sports Network. Is this thing on? Oh, boy. Thank you, Joshua Jackson, for a great conversation. Man. A great conversation about Florida A&M athletics, and it just snowballed from there. But man, and that came at the last minute. I didn't have, and Voody's so mad at me. I told him I wouldn't have any guests on this afternoon, but when I saw this story about Florida A&M and the comments that Kellen Winslow made, and I knew Joshua Jackson is a proud alumnus of FAMU, I said I got to get him on. Voody missed the interview, and now he's growling at me. No, actually, you know what? He's banging away on his laptop with the headphones on. And he didn't have the headphones on for like 20 minutes. He didn't have headphones on for 20 minutes, and he's so mad at me now. I'm sorry. You needed to pay attention. No, I'm kidding as I say that. This is the Afternoon Locker Room presented by Sowers Ford of Michigan City, Northwest Indiana's newest Ford Lincoln dealer. Visit SowersAuto.com for more information. And also this afternoon, and I'm going to make Voody drool about this, we are presented by Becker's Pizza. Visit Becker's Pizza at 310 South Clinton Street in downtown Chicago. Our hangout when we have our live broadcast. Becker's Pizza, they lay it on thick, man. All right, a little more about this. Having everything in place and built from scratch is what needs to happen at Florida A&M. And let me get another note in here real quick. I think I pronounced her name right, but she hasn't informed me of such. And when she doesn't inform me of such, I think I made a boo-boo, and she's going to beat me up for it. And I'm talking about Stephanie Nyers, my friend down in South Bend, who's listening in. And she's wondering, why the hell is he saying my name on air? I didn't ask him to do that. Well, I did it anyway. But let's be serious for a moment. How big would it be now with the building of the SEC network, the Texas Longhorns having their own network, ACC, the Big Ten? God knows the Big Ten has their own network, and I'm not even gonna get into the stuff that Notre Dame has. The HBCU, the MEAC and the SWAC conference, as well as the CIAA, can take a cue from this. They can take a cue from this, and build from there. They could take a cue from this, really. And you know what's great is we are in the 21st century. We are in the information age. I mean, hell, we're not even in the information age anymore. We're in the information transmission age, where it's instant. It's instant information. It's instant. I can't even think of the word for it. But think of how much of an advantage the schools, especially the colleges and the small colleges, have now with the way that information technology is, with the way the internet is. Golly, the internet blew up in the mid-'90s. And it took a while for some folks to take advantage of it. Now they are. Especially the big college, and the Pac-12 was the latest to come onto the scene with their network, which I'm kind of liking, by the way. And there's a certain Washington Husky fan where if I don't talk about the Huskies, she gets a little mad at me, and she really gets mad at me when I talk about her Seattle Seahawks, which I'm going to do next week, but that's another story. But with the addition of the Pac-12 network, that helps matter. It's just taking an idea and running with it. It's taking an idea and running as far as you can with it. And with these comments from Kellen Winslow about FAMU's athletic department being broken and not a quick fix, I like that. You don't need, in a situation like that, you don't want to have a quick fix. If you need to tear it down and rebuild it, then you need to just tear it down and rebuild it. I'm going to give an NFL example here in just a moment, and I'm going to do this for my friend Jolene, who is on the road right now. For some reason, she's gone from the King Dome to the Georgia Dome. She's in Atlanta with a friend, and she's tuning in, and I'm going to use Seattle as an example. And I hope I do this the right way so she doesn't beat me up. They blew up the King Dome. They had to play at University of Washington for 2 seasons, I want to say. Yeah, 2 seasons, and then they built what is now CenturyLink Field. Of course, it was Quest Field. It's taking a foundation and rebuilding it. I mean, they built the stadium. They got the right players. I'm not going to say anything about those lime green ass uniforms. Please don't bring them back. But I said all this to make an example. They got everything right, and what happens? They win the Super Bowl. What would have been great if they were able to host the Super Bowl, but I don't think you could host a Super Bowl in that joint. It's too loud. Can you imagine a Super Bowl being held at the Link? Oh, good Lord. All right, let me go one step further. The Super Bowl being hosted by the Seahawks at CenturyLink Field. Oh, hell no. Even I wouldn't try to travel to make that. I'd be shaking. Not much scares me. But a game at CenturyLink Field with the Seahawks being the home team? No. Can't do that. I know I'm jumping all over the place. And I use the Seahawks as a sample, as an example about how a foundation needs to be built. And I love the comments again by Kellen Winslow saying that our department is broken and we need to fix it one step at a time. Joshua Jackson mentioned something also that is very, very true. And what he mentioned was the fact that Mr. Winslow is getting out in the public's face. He is shaking hands. He is kissing babies. He's letting people know, hey, we are stripping our athletic department to its core, and we are rebuilding from there. And that's what you need to do. Here's another example. When ISNet rebranded 2 years ago, it was kind of a new beginning for us as well. We had a good name, and we knew what the name meant, but what really started the wheels turning, doggone it, I spilled my water. Voodoo's going to beat me up. Oh, man. That was liquid goodness, too. I spilled my water. Doggone it. I'll just drink the last bit of it. Anyway, with all that, when we rebranded 2 years ago, it was kind of a new beginning for us. The wheels really began to turn when at a Chicago Chamber of Commerce meeting that I was invited to, someone basically asked me the name of my company and what it meant. And when I told this person, she said, it doesn't reflect it in your name. That's what really got the wheels turning. And then I talked to Vinny. I said, how would you feel if we rebranded and we renamed everything? He sent me a sample of what his show would be and used the term Arena Sports Radio, which kicked everything into high gear. And then April 1st, 2013, we officially rebranded. We became the Arena Sports Network, and I want to thank everybody that has supported us. And I'm going to get beat up here in a moment, so let me take a break. When we come back, I'll close this out the way it needs to be closed out, and I'm going to have a little fun doing it. Don't you come toward me with that thing. Don't. Man, look, me and my producer are about to get in a fight right now, and I'm going to stun his ass. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back, folks.
Looking for a reason to visit U.S. Tire and Auto in Gary, Indiana? Our customers gave us 5 of them. The high standards of quality service and parts, lifetime warranties, a strong business built on honesty and integrity. They've been servicing the Gary community since 1991 and the largest auto and light truck tire dealer in the city of Gary, Indiana. We have a variety of products and services that are instrumental to the health of your car, including our tire fitment guide to help you find the correct size tires for your automobile. Our friendly service staff will quickly outfit your vehicle with a high-quality tire that is right for you. Check out our tire and wheel catalog to give your vehicle the perfect fit. For more information or to schedule an appointment, call 219-884-4600 or visit us online at www.ustire-auto.com.
Do you suffer from severe chronic pain caused by a back or neck injury, migraine headaches, or a work injury? Take heart. Midwest Interventional Spine Specialist is the region's leading provider of minimally invasive, non-surgical pain treatments. For more than a decade, physicians and patients in Munster, Dyer, East Chicago, Hammond, Hobart, Merrillville, St. John, and Valparaiso have turned to Miss First for effective relief of even the most severe and painful conditions. Our board-certified, fellowship-trained experts use a wide range of minimally invasive techniques to dramatically relieve your pain. In fact, for more than a decade, Miss Specialists have been first to deliver proven effective treatment innovations for spinal pain and other conditions to patients throughout northwestern Indiana. For more information, pay us a visit at 8840 Calumet Avenue, Suite 103 in Munster, or give us a call at 219-836-7246. The Midwest Interventional Spine Specialist, First Improvement Pain Solutions, first in patient care.
Have you ever wanted your own phone app but thought it was too expensive? Here is something even better. The best custom mobile page QR system in the world, designed for smartphones, iPhones, and tablets. Have the business card of the future for our mobile world. It includes your own customizable mobile page with unlimited flexibility, your contact info, YouTube channel, videos, events, specials, audio, and more, all on your mobile page. Your own back office so you can make real-time, unlimited updates and changes as often and as much as you want. One code is all you will ever need as you change anything in real time from your back office. This is your business card on all ads, Facebook, t-shirts, flyers, and doorways everywhere. All of this for $99.90 a year plus a $3 payment fee. Visit www.qr2015.net for more information or call 312-802-1208. That's 312-802-1208. The future is in your hands. Call or visit online today.
I represent the Excelsior Appliance and Appurtenance Company Incorporated with a complete line of household appliances and it's a lady of the house then. What?
Testing. 1, 2. Oh, sorry. You're listening to the Afternoon Locker Room on the Arena Sports Network. Is this thing on?
Afternoon Locker Room on this Thursday. We're about to bring this bad boy to a close. Don't forget, beginning... Oh, I got the doors going in the background. I forgot about that. This is what I get for putting my producer on a 5-hour energy. And in fact, this afternoon's show is presented by 5 Hour Energy. Hours of energy now, no crash later. Sugar-free, only 4 calories. Feel it in minutes, lasts for hours. 5 Hour Energy, one of our proud sponsors this afternoon. And I keep looking around our studios here in Glenview when we're finally settled. This is going to be one of two locations for our shows here in ASN. So keep up with us throughout the course of the summer. I keep looking around and I see 5 Hour Energy bottles everywhere. I mean, what the hell does this guy need? He has coffee in the morning when I do Snowman in the morning. He's got 5 Hour Energy bottles stacked up about as high as this lamp that's in front of me. Dude, you go through energy drinks more than I go through chocolate. And I'm trying to quit. It. And you're not helping. But I do have a funny story about 5 Hour Energy as we get ready to get out of here. I had a suggestion. I know the story I want to tell, but he'll hit me. But I'm gonna tell it here in a minute. But I had a 5 Hour Energy once, and it backfired. I was driving to Michigan with my friend Corey to do a game, Chicago State and Western Michigan in women's basketball. And I picked up Corey, and I was feeling very, very sleepy. So Corey suggested, why don't you get a 5 Hour Energy? It didn't work. It backfired badly. That was when, a year later, I found out I was a type 2 diabetic, which I have since defeated. But here's another funny story about 5 Hour Energy. And I hate to do this to him, and I know he's going to throw something at me from behind the boards, but I'm going to do it anyway. One morning, Woody and I were working together at Starbucks, and he was sleepier than I was, which is a rarity because I don't get sleep much, especially with my friend Jolene teaching me a new word, and I'll close with that in a moment. Woody said, I have an idea. I said, what's your idea? He said, I'm going to get some coffee, and I'm going to put a 5 Hour Energy in it. I said, what the hell are you doing that for? Are you crazy? He says, I have a lot of work to do. I said, dude, you're going to be bouncing off the walls and landing flat on your ass. He said, it must be done. He looked at me with an Arnold Schwarzenegger look. It must be done. So what does he do? He goes and gets we were in Starbucks, so he gets his venti coffee, and he puts 5 Hour Energy in it. He takes a sip of that and nearly throws up. And he looked at me and he said, remind me never to combine those two again. I'm like, I told you 5 Hour Energy is flat energy. But we do welcome them and we thank him. Okay. I have a word of the day that I'm going to close the show with, and I will not use this word often. I will not. But I'm going to use it today. Why I'm using this word, I don't know. Why do I want to talk about this word? Because Jolene sent it to me. In her absolute love of the Seattle Seahawks, don't ask me why. But the word is 12ing. Now, anyone who's in Seattle will get the connection immediately. The Seattle Seahawks have the 12th man. All right? Now, how she was describing, she had on a Super Bowl champion's hat, a number 12 jersey, which I'm assuming, she hasn't sent me a picture yet, and I don't think she will, which I'm assuming is dark blue. And she was just dressed head to toe in Seahawks gear. All right, that's the definition of 12ing. And you know, she sent me a message. You'd be so proud of me. I was 12ing when I was in your city. I'm like, you were doing what? And she had to explain it to me. So that's my excuse. She had to explain it to me. You won't catch me doing that at all. Because I would have to be an active football player to have a number 12 jersey that'll fit my ass. Which may happen in a month's time. You don't ever know. You never know. Her birthday's in August, mine is in July, and she keeps threatening that she's going to send me a Seahawks jersey for my birthday. She keeps threatening. You know what? She's made threats to me before that she's going to send me a Seahawks jersey, she's going to send me a Sonics jersey, and she's going to send me, what else? A Mariners jersey. I said, you're not going to send me any of that. She says, why not? You need a little Seattle in your life. I said, I'll keep the Sonics jersey as long as it reads Sean Kemp or Gary Payton or Nate McMillan or Tom Chambers. She says, well, I can't find those. Well, you're not getting me a Sonics jersey. She says, what about one that says Kevin Durant? As long as it's an old school look, you're fine. And she says, well, I can't find that. So, I have yet to receive my Seahawks jersey, although she's going to try like hell to send me one this year because of her team beating my team in the NFC Championship, which was a hell of a game. She's going to try to send me a Mariners jersey, and the only Mariners jersey, and she knows this, the only two Mariners jerseys that I will wear were 24 for Ken Griffey Jr. and 11 for Edgar Martinez. Now, she has plans of, quote-unquote, 12ing at the Georgia Dome. Well, Jolene, I just say I hope they don't blow the sumbitch up while you're there because they're planning to do away with the Georgia Dome soon. Well, that's probably three seasons away. And I'm picking on her because I haven't picked on her in a while. You know what? I haven't picked on her in a while. I used to pick on her every morning until she got mad at me. Why did she get mad at me? You're not showing my boys any love. I don't plan to either. But I eventually did after they won the Super Bowl. I had to. My producers jumped all over me. They said, look. They said, look, you have to do this. No, I don't. Brian, yes, you have to show your love for the Seattle Seahawks. I said, I don't want this crazy woman calling in doing a happy dance. She's not going to call in and do a happy dance. Oh, no? I hope she hears this and she knows I'm kidding around as I do this. She's not going to call in and do a happy dance? No, she's not going to call in and do a happy dance. Okay, fine. So the day after the Super Bowl, I get cranked up on my morning show. Everything's going. I'm breaking down the game. And what the hell do you think happens? This woman rings my show and starts doing a happy dance on the phone saying, I told you it was going to happen. I told you it was going to happen. If you don't hang up this cotton picking telephone right now, I'm going to say a few words I shouldn't be saying on air. Oh, you won't say them anyway. You love me. Woman, don't get me started. So what do you think she's going to do, folks? She's going to tease me all doggone season. She's going to tease me all doggone season. But anyway, 12ing is the word of the day, and they never catch old snowman doing that mess. Why? It's just not right. It's just not right. I will never, ever, ever in life do that horrible. I will say this. As long as I will say this, as you know what, I think I'm going to make Voodie mad while I close the show here. It goes like this. As long as I'm not forced to wear a Cubs hat, I'm cool. I can deal with a Sonics. I can deal with a Seahawks hat. I can deal with that. And what do you think he's doing right now? He's putting on his Cub hat, and he's writing a note to me saying, you will wear this one day. The hell I will. No, thank you. All right, I'm done teasing people. I got to get out of here. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Joshua Jackson. Get this doggone thing away from me. Goodbye, y'all. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. I'm going to get beat up now. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody.